Fox 4's Alex Boyer joins us this afternoon. Now, you attended a very interesting briefing this afternoon on layoffs across the board as far as the National Weather Service is concerned. And North Texans depend on broadcast meteorologists, but they also depend just as much on National Weather Service meteorologists and technicians.
Yeah, absolutely, Kylie. You know, it was interesting. It was actually a virtual conversation that was hosted by a Democrat senator in the Seattle area, Maria Cantwell. And she's really concerned about the cuts, as you mentioned, that are being made to NOAA, as well as the cuts that are being made to the National Weather Service all across the country that have taken place under the Trump administration. And she says now, of course, she's really worried about this as we head into hurricane and wildfire season in this area. And some interesting statistics that she released today from her office. She talked about over the past several months that the National Weather Service has lost about 560 employees. That's a combination due to layoffs and retirements that have happened. And she also said that yesterday, though, that the Trump administration did say that they were going to bring back roughly 126 of those jobs right now, and because we are headed into hurricane season, hopefully to address some of those concerns. But she did say that she really thinks that that is a Band-Aid, considering that's just about 25% of the jobs that have been lost. I can also tell you that the National Hurricane Center, as you know, very important out of Miami right now in this area. They have 5 vacancies with their meteorologists there. And then something else that I thought was really interesting, a former National NWS employee, chief meteorologist there, said that 30 of the 122 weather offices all around the country currently don't have a meteorologist in charge, and that includes the Houston area. Take a listen.
Hurricane season started this week. So we're already a handful of days into the 2025 hurricane season, but the National Weather Service and NOAA are dealing with their own storm right now in the form of short staffing and budget cuts. And it's having impacts on the number of staffing that are available to actually meet the 24/7 mission. And you mentioned the meteorologist in charge position because there's about 30 that are vacant right now, including my former position at the NWS office in Tampa. And that position, if you think of a chief meteorologist, you know, that is the chief meteorologist or the office director at each of the 122 weather forecast offices across the country. And that person leads the office. That person is the main point of contact when it comes to briefing elected officials, emergency management directors, state governors, city mayors, parish officials. These are the individuals that are leading that office and also leading change. You know, they are the individual that's going to be implementing any new change. Not every office across the country is short-staffed, but there are, as you said, there are 8 that are below a certain number of employees that work at that particular office. And that means that they can't work 24/7 operations. That's never before happened in my career. Whenever you look at an office that is short-staffed, that means that a piece of that larger puzzle is taken away, right? And so that means that some outreach might not be able to occur.
And that's what we're saying today, that do not take the staff away, do not take the people that are giving us the analysis of this data and information, do not take them off their job, because they are going to help all of us be a network and prepare for hurricane season and later fire season. So we're trying to prevent those damages, and we're trying to prevent, obviously, the devastating impact to life by being prepared, by getting people where they need to be. We have said to the Commerce Secretary that these cuts in services are undermining our ability to deliver accurate information to the public. And every former director of the National Weather Service, representing both Republican and Democrat administrations, wrote a letter saying, quote, "The worst nightmare is that weather forecast offices will be so understaffed that there will be a needless loss of life."
So, you know, I did want to check with our local office in the Fort Worth area, and I can tell you that 2 meteorologists took early retirement offered under the Trump administration, and they're also down one of their information technology officers who deal with things like the forecasting systems, any of those problems they have on the computers. So I really thought it'd be interesting, though, for our viewers to really understand, how is it that you all work together?
No, that's a great question, and I feel like there are a lot of misconceptions when it comes to watches and warnings and who's responsible responsible for what. Now, you'll oftentimes hear the National Weather Service meteorologists refer to broadcast meteorologists as their partners. So what essentially does that mean? So the National Weather Service, they're the ones who are in charge of issuing watches and warnings across North Texas. Very important, especially because we could see severe weather 365 days out of the year. Now, oftentimes, too, a lot of our viewers, they don't necessarily know that we aren't the ones who are issuing those warnings across North Texas. We are relaying the information from the National Weather Service. They staff their offices very similarly to how we staff ours. They have a team that works overnight, just as we have that handoff from meteorologist to meteorologist through the overnight hours as well. So as much as they are monitoring radar, we are too. And we are working in unison to make sure that information gets out to North Texans to make sure that everyone stays safe. So they are working around the clock just as we are. You know, right now we're in this pattern where storms are overnight or through the overnight hours, and they have someone on staff just as we do. And again, when the weather is very active, they are the ones who are sending out survey teams to determine, you know, just how extensive damage is from either straight line winds or a potential tornado. That is all the National Weather Service. We are so grateful for all that they do for us and to help keep North Texans safe.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can tell you that letter that was sent that the senator talked about, again, representing all of these National Weather Service employees, is being sent to the Commerce Secretary. So we'll have to wait and see if that actually makes a difference.